Crying out loud. Would you please feed that thing or something?
But what does it eat?
I don't know. Give it a Pop-Tart or something. That's much better. You must really like Pop-Tarts.
I didn't give him a Pop-Tart. I'm breastfeeding him.
Oh boy. Here comes pizza. Here's your damn ranch show. Greetings, and welcome to the most recent episode of Film Rants. I'm your host, E. Adam Thomas, and tonight we're going to look at the feature-length directorial debut by David Lynch, 1977's Eraserhead. Now, to even attempt to make sense of the plot of this film is honestly pointless, but in short, it's about a vacationing printer, played by Jack Nance, who marries his girlfriend when she turns out to be pregnant with his, baby, for lack of a better word. It's mutated and sickly, and more than Mary, his wife, can handle. She ultimately leaves him alone to care for the child by himself. Then, that's where attempts at description start to become futile. There's an amorous neighbor across the hall, a puffy-cheeked lady in a radiator, pencils, dancing sperms, and angry lighting fixtures. Now, I love this film, and I still can't figure out why. I guess the best way to describe it is like it's like having an intense acid trip without having to pay for any LSD. People who have seen it either love it or think it's the biggest piece of shit to be raped onto celluloid since the giant claw. It is definitely a totally unconventional film, and might come off to the casual viewer as though it was made up on the fly, or largely improvised. That's certainly not the case, as it took Lynch nearly 5 years to complete the film, actually closer to 6 years. It's definitely a mindfuck, though. It did take me a couple of viewings to decide whether I liked this movie at all. You want to know something, though? There needs to be a lot more films like that. You know, one of the things that really pisses me off about major Hollywood films is the fact that, historically, weird films and filmmakers are constantly buried under a festering sludge of banal mediocrity. For every Eraserhead, Clerks, or Pink Floyd The Wall, there are thousands of brainless, titty and beer comedies, intellectually impoverished, CGI-laced action movies, and let's not even go into the plethora of soulless rom-coms floating to the surface like an oil slick from the Deepwater Horizon disaster. Hollywood frowns upon the avant-garde, even as they ineptly pilfer the most commercially friendly aspects of nouveau cinema. They scoff at the unconventional until it can generate sufficient profit to stiffen the loins within their sleek designer codpieces. Even when a film like this proves that it can launch the career of a unique visionary director like David Lynch, they prefer to deluge the marketplace with safe, brainless tripe. Then, they have the unmitigated gall to whine like a bunch of sexually deprived howler monkeys when the theaters start emptying out and most people would rather download their shit from torrent sites illegally than pay a fuckload of cash to sip flat soda and be tortured by ignoramic drivel in a dark, frozen auditorium for 2 hours. We're in the cultural dark ages right now, friends. A cesspool of lazy, uninspired dreck awaits us, so long as we let limp-dicked sheeple dictate to us what we're going to be forced to watch at the local Hellhole 55 multiplex. Instead of being applauded for having a unique vision and the testicular fortitude to make the movies he wanted, David Lynch and other directors just like him are forced to either fight tooth and nail for every film they want to make, or dilute their talents in order to continue working in the industry that they used to love. Eraserhead is a triumph of a film, just by virtue of its sheer existence. It's a bizarre, visually twisted mindfuck of a movie, with scenes that literally put you off food for the better part of a month, but I love it, and I wouldn't change one single screeching baby mutant moment of it. Take it from someone who's been disappointed more than a few dozen thousand times. Most of the time, when you see for an ad for a movie on TV and you think to yourself, that looks really cool or interesting, it's not. Even when the promo makes it look amazingly different and groundbreaking or bizarre or downright fucked up, the only thing truly bizarre or fucked up about it will be the price of the cheap-ass fucking hot dogs you buy at the concession stand before you go into that cinematic gulag. Forget about it. Just forget about it, stay home, and wait for it to show up on Netflix. Just don't waste your money. If you are insistent on blowing a whole day's pay on a single movie, go get Eraserhead on Blu-ray and have yourself a nice trip out. Let's look at the rantometer for Eraserhead. I'm giving it a full 5 wine glasses. I'd give it more, but I promised my fiancé I'd try to cut down. Coolness is also a 5. And originality, you guessed it, 5 there as well. Now, in the interest of full honesty and disclosure, I did give it a 1 on the suck factor, because if you do watch this film and you're just not in the mood for it, it is really hard to get through. That gives Eraserhead a total score of 14. Cute little 14 there. That brings us to the end of another episode of Film Rants. Let me know what movies you love that everybody else around you fucking hates. Or tell me about movies that you hate that everybody else keeps going on and on about how wonderful it is. And I might even feature some of your comments right here on the show. You can also comment to this video or post your pics on Twitter, Facebook, or Google Plus using the hashtag FilmRantsEAT. Thank you for tuning in, and looks like it's my turn to go feed the baby. Excuse me, folks. Good night. Shut up already, damn it! I don't care if there is hair in your mouth.
You got